Lesson number 142, Surah Al-Isra, will begin from ayah number 13. وَكُلَّ إِنسَانٍ, and for every person, for every human being, أَلْزَمْنَاهُ, we have imposed on him, طَائِرَهُ, his fate. Where? فِي عُنُقِهِ, upon his neck. Meaning, it is bound to him, he cannot avoid it. وَنُخْرِجُ لَهُ, and we will produce for him, يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ, on the day of resurrection, كِتَابًا, a record, يَلْقَاهُ مَنْشُورًا, which he will encounter spread open. وَكُلَّ إِنسَانٍ, every single human being, every person, no matter how righteous he is or how evil he is, no matter how young or how old, whenever he came to this world, every single person, أَلْزَمْنَاهُ, we have imposed on him. أَلْزَمَ, lam, zaimim, to make something cling to the other, to make something stick to the other, to attach it to the other. So أَلْزَمْنَاهُ, we have attached to him, we have imposed on him, it is made to cling on him, what? طَائِرَهُ, his fate. The word طائر is from the root letters طَ, يَا, را. And the word طَيْر, طَائِر, literally is a bird, one that flies. وَلَا طَائِرٍ يَطِيرُ بِجَنَاحَيْهِ. So طَائِر is literally one who flies. But the word طَائِر is also used for a bad omen. Why? Because the Arabs, whenever they wanted to decide something, whenever they wanted to see if something brought good luck to them or bad luck to them, what would they do? They would make a bird fly. And if the bird flew to the right, what did that mean? This is good for us. This will bring good luck. And if it flew to the left, then what did that mean? This will be a source of bad luck. So from this, the word ta'ir is also used for fate or omen, bad omen. So for every person we have attached his ta'ir, where? fi unuqihi, in his neck. Now in his unuq, it is attached to his neck. Just imagine something is attached to the neck of a person, just like a necklace. Can he avoid it? No. It is always with him. Always, constantly. Unless a person takes it up, unless a person removes it. But this ta'ir is constantly attached to the neck of a person, meaning he can never avoid it. Whatever is meant to happen will definitely happen. Now the word ta'ir over here has been understood in two ways. First of all, as I mentioned to you, it refers to his fate. That whatever is written for him, whatever is recorded for him, it will definitely happen. He cannot avoid what Allah has destined for him. Like the hadith tells us, that مَا أَصَابَكَ لَمْ يَكُنْ لِيُخْطِئُكَ. Whatever hit you was never meant to miss you. Whatever has reached you, whether it is good or evil, it was never meant to miss you. And whatever has missed you, it was never meant to reach you. So this is what it means by ta'ir. That every person's fate is attached to him. Whatever Allah has decreed for him will definitely happen. He cannot avoid it. It is bound to happen. Therefore, anything that happens in life, what should a person think? This was maktub. If a person suffers from a financial loss, he should think this is maktub. This is written. Allah decreed it. If a person wanted to get married to a particular person and it never happened, what should a person know? This was meant to happen. Allah never wrote this person for me. Similarly, if a person wants to have children, they cannot have children, what should they realize? This is the fate that Allah wrote for me. This is what Allah decided for me. Similarly, if a person suffers from something, from an illness, from a sickness, from a loss, from death of a family member, then again, this is the ta'ir that is bound to him, that he cannot miss, that he can never ever avoid, no matter what he tries to do. Secondly, the word ta'ir has also been understood as amal, deeds. That for every person, his deeds, whether good or evil, they are tied to his neck. What does it mean by that? that whenever a person performs an action, it is eternally tied to him, bound to him. Do you understand? Meaning, it is recorded, it is written, he will be questioned. So, his deeds are like a ta'id that is bound to his neck. Now, why are deeds called ta'ir? Imam Raghib, he has explained that actions that a person performs or words that a person says, they are like a bird that a person has caused to fly. Now, when you make a bird fly away from you, can you ever retrieve it? Can you ever get it back? Hardly ever. Rarely. So once an action has been done, it's gone from your hands. You don't have any control over it now. It's written. Similarly, when a person utters some words, it is written, it's recorded. So for every person, his ta'id, meaning his fate, or secondly, his deeds, they are bound to him, bound to his neck, meaning he cannot avoid it. وَنُخْرِجُ لَهُ, and we will produce for him يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ, on the day of resurrection, كِتَابًا, a record. What record is this? A record in which are written all of his deeds. يَلْقَاهُ, that he will find it, meaning this book, this record, he will find it, manshura, spread open before him. Manshur from the root letters, noon, sheen, ra. And nashara is to spread something. Whether it is to spread a piece of garment, or it is to spread open a book, or it is to spread rain everywhere, or it is to spread one's statements, words. Nashara is to spread, to lie open, to publish. So he will find this book right before him, open, wide open, clearly, right before him. What do we see in this ayah? We see that whatever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has decreed for a person, he cannot avoid it. And the word ta'ir has been used. The Arabs, they thought that their luck was determined by what? By a bird. Similarly, people today also have many false beliefs with regards to their fate. That if something has happened to them, it's because of the star that they have. It's because of another reason. However, we see that a person's fate is directly linked to what? His deeds, his actions. Whatever he does, that becomes his destiny. Whatever he does, that becomes his fate. Because whatever actions a person is performing in this dunya, eventually he is going to get the consequence of that in the hereafter. It's not that a person behaves a particular way and he gets his recompense completely opposite on the Day of Judgment. No. Whatever you do, that is what you will get in the hereafter. And the fate of every person is bound to him, wherever he goes. Whether he is traveling, whether he is sleeping, it is bound to him. He can never avoid it. He can never detach it from himself. And whatever a person does in this dunya, it is being recorded, and on the Day of Judgment, he will find it right before him. We learn in Surah Al-Qiyamah, ayah number 13 as well, يُنَبَّأُ الْإِنسَانُ يَوْمَئِذٍ بِمَا قَدَّمَ وَأَخَّرَ. Man will be informed on that day of what he sent ahead and what he kept back. Similarly, in Surah Al-Zalzalah, ayah number 7 to 8, we learn, فَمَنْ يَعْمَلْ مِثْقَالَ ذَرَّةٍ خَيْرًا يَرَهُ وَمَنْ يَعْمَلْ مِثْقَالَ ذَرَّةٍ شَرًّا يَرَهُ. Similarly, in Surah Al-Tur, ayah number 16, we learn, إِنَّمَا تُجْزَوْنَ مَا كُنْتُمْ تَعْمَلُونَ. You are being recompensed for what you used to do. You are being punished for what? For what you used to do. It's not that you did something completely different and now you're getting a result that you don't deserve. No. Whatever you have done, that has become your destiny. And that will be proven through what? Through the record of deeds that has been displayed right before you. And when the record of deeds is displayed, what will be said? اقرأ كتابك. It will be said, read your book. Read your book. Meaning read your record. Yourself. Read it yourself. Hasan al-Basri said that every person will read his record. Whether he is an ummi, whether unlettered, or he is lettered, whether he is able to read or he is unable to read. Every person will be able to read them. اقرأ كتابك. كفى بنفسك. Sufficient is yourself. اليوم today. عليك against you. حسيبا as an accountant. Meaning you alone are enough to decide what you deserve. Upon seeing your record. No one has to tell you that you deserve reward or you deserve punishment. You are the best judge today. On seeing your record, you yourself can decide where you're supposed to go. This does not mean that the choice will be left to people. What does it mean? That the end result will be very obvious to every single person when he sees his record. Just as if a person is given his report card, his result sheet, and in it is the result of every single subject, every single course that he has taken. If he sees all A's, then what does that mean? He knows he has passed. And if he sees D's and F's, and maybe U's ungraded, and half of the record is in red, then he knows that he's doomed. Even if he's not told you have failed, unfortunately, you will not be given your diploma, he knows that he has failed. He doesn't need to be told. Isn't it so? So similarly, on the Day of Judgment, as every person will see his record, he will know what exactly he deserves. No one will have to tell him. It will be obvious by the result itself, by the book itself. But unfortunately, in this dunya, what happens with us? We do an action, we do something, and we forget about it. Or we do certain good deeds and we think they're so big. They're so many. They're so important. We do certain actions, we think they're so insignificant. They don't carry any weight. But the fact is that when all of the deeds are going to be displayed together, then we will see their reality. So what do we need to do now? Take account of ourselves today before we are called to account. We need to check our actions now before we are made to check. Because many times what happens? We miss one salah after the other. We delay one salah after the other. Similarly, we don't perform salah with khushu' at all. Just salah, if you look at it, which is the first thing that we'll be questioned about. Now imagine the result of all of the prayers is shown to you. Think about it. Think about every single salah that you've prayed. What mark would you give it? Would you give it 100% or would you give it a 20% or a 0%? Honestly, grade your actions now, before you are shown their grades. In Surah Al-Qiyamah, ayah 14 and 15, we learn, بَلِ الْإِنسَانُ عَلَى نَفْسِهِ بَصِيرَةٌ وَلَوْ أَلْقَى مَعَاذِيرَهُ. Rather, man against himself will be a witness, even if he presents his excuses. Today, what do? We have a long list of excuses for everything. I couldn't pray on time because I woke up late. I couldn't pray with khushu' because I was very occupied with that work of mine. We have a long list of excuses, but what does Allah say? Eventually, every person knows he is guilty. بَلِ الْإِنسَانُ عَلَى نَفْسِهِ بَصِيرًا. Every single person against himself is a witness, even if he presents many excuses. Abu Umama, he reported that the Prophet ﷺ said, man's record of deeds will be spread open before him, and he will read it, and he will say, I did such and such good deed, but it is not written over here. You understand? A person will be given his record, and he will look through it, thinking, where did this good deed of mine go? And he will say, I did such and such, it is not written over here. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will say, because you used to backbite, I have erased that good deed of yours. كَفَى بِنَفْسِكَ الْيَوْمَ عَلَيْكَ حَسِيبًا. You are sufficient as an accountant against yourself. We see that some good deeds, they're wiped away because of our own wrong actions. because of our injustice, because of the wrong use of our tongue, because of our ingratitude, because of showing off, because of riya. Such deeds, they become inactive. They will not carry any weight. They will not bring any benefit to a person on the Day of Judgment. Like for example, if a person is putting in so much effort every single day to recite the Quran, but if he's not doing it for the sake of Allah, he's doing it to please people, he's doing it just to get a diploma, then on the Day of Judgment, if he will not see it over there, this is what he will be told, that you never did it for the sake of Allah. Therefore, that good deed has been wiped off with the riya. Every single day, it was wiped off because of the riya that you did. Similarly, if a person gives sadaqah, but he shows off, or he follows it up with man and riya, then again what will happen? What will happen? It will be wiped off. It will be erased. لا تبطلوا صدقاتكم بالمن والأذى. We learn in Surah Al-Inshiqaq, ayah number 7 to 12, فَأَمَّا مَنْ أُوتِيَ كِتَابَهُ بِيَمِينِهِ فَسَوْفَ يُحَاسَبُ حِسَابًا يَسِيرًا وَيَنْقَلِبُ إِلَىٰ أَهْلِهِ مَسْرُورًا. Then as for he who is given his record in his right hand, he will be judged with an easy account. He will be questioned. He will be given an exam that is going to be easy. And he will return to his people in happiness. وَأَمَّا مَنْ أُوتِيَ كِتَابَهُ وَرَاءَ ظَهْرِهِ فَسَوْفَ يَدْعُو ثُبُورًا وَيَصْلَى سَعِيرًا. But as for he who is given his record behind his back, he will cry out for destruction, and he will enter to blaze in the fire. Similarly in Surah Al-Haqqa, ayah 19-20, we learn, فَأَمَّا مَنْ أُوتِيَ كِتَابَهُ بِيَمِينِهِ فَيَقُولُ هَاؤُمُ اقْرَءُوا كِتَابِيَهْ إِنِّي ظَنَنْتُ أَنِّي مُلَاقٍ حِسَابِيَهْ. So as for the person who is given his record in his right hand, he will say, here, read my record. If a person is given his results, if a person is given his test paper back, and if he's gotten 100%, if he's gotten really good marks, what is he going to do? Here, go ahead, look. Look at my result. I did so well in this subject. I did so well in this course. I got 100% on the attendance, on performance, etc., etc. He will happily go around showing to every person, not feeling shy at all. This is only possible when the record itself is good. He will say, here, read my record. Indeed, I was certain that I would be meeting my account. I was certain that I was going to receive my result. This is why I was so careful. This is why I was so cautious. So a person who remembers the end in mind, who remembers the day of result in mind, he will perform his actions properly. He will be careful throughout his life. But on the other hand, وَأَمَّا مَنْ أُوتِيَ كِتَابَهُ بِشِمَالِهِ فَيَقُولُ يَا لَيْتَنِي لَمْ أُوتَ كِتَابِيَهْ وَلَمْ أَدْرِ مَا حِسَابِيَهْ. But as for he who is given his record in his left hand, what will he say? Oh, I wish I had not been given my record. I wish I was never made to see this sheet. وَلَمْ أَدْرِ مَا حِسَابِيَهْ. And I would not know what my hisab is, what my account is. Meaning I would never be given my hisab. I wish this would happen with me. So what's the lesson in this for us? Take account before you are shown the result. Just like when some students, when they're doing their course, they're very particular about each and every subject, each and every single test, each and every assignment. They are careful. They will go up to the group in charge. They will ask the course in charge. I could not take this test of mine. Can you please give me the opportunity to take it as soon as possible? I missed this assignment. I missed this homework. Can I please do it? This person is careful. He's very conscious. And at the end of the course, they'll be very happy. But for the person who doesn't care about his results, that instead of him being concerned about the tests that he has missed, other people are following him, that you have missed this, please complete your result, then obviously the two are going to be completely different on the day of result. One is going to be happy, showing the result, another is going to be hiding the result. Because it has empty boxes, because it has zeros, because it has C's and D's. everything that we do, we must make sure that we rectify the intention, we renew the intention, we do it sincerely, exclusively for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because if a person does it to please people, if a person does it to obtain dunya, then that action is useless. It's going to remain in this dunya. It's not going to benefit him at all in the hereafter. Never think that the good that you have done is enough. Because you never know where you are falling short. What might not be given any weight on the Day of Judgment. Like a person will say, "Oh Allah, I did such and such good deed, I don't see it written." Well, you did ghibah, so that's why it was erased. So make sure you have done extra good deeds. Never think that what you've done is enough. Continue to increase. Exactly. In this dunya, if somebody points our mistake to us, if somebody corrects us, makes us realize what we're doing is wrong, then what should we do? Accept it. Because if we don't, on the Day of Judgment, it is going to be shown. And we're going to be recompensed for it. Right now, we can still make amendments. But on that day, we cannot make any changes. Nothing at all. It's such a big deal that we cannot stay put for even a moment. We can never think, this is enough, I don't need to do anymore. Just as if a person is extremely concerned about a major exam that he has to take. And he knows that there will be 5 sections, for example. And he will have a choice of 3, that he has to do at least 3 out of 5. Then what will he do? He will fully prepare 3, but just to be on the safe side, what is he going to do? Prepare extra as well. Prepare the other 2 as well. That just in case this is not enough, I should have the other 2 ready as well. The matter of the hereafter is far more serious. It is far more important. It is far more risky. So we can never think what we've done is enough. We need to constantly strive to increase, to improve. Man ihtada, whoever obtains guidance, meaning whoever improves in his hidayah, whoever improves in his good deeds, whoever believes, whoever performs righteousness, فَإِنَّمَا, then indeed not but, يَهْتَدِي لِنَفْسِهِ, he obtains guidance for himself. Meaning, the reward of his guidance is for him. He is going to benefit by his hidayah. When a person performs righteousness, who is he benefiting? Himself. وَمَنْ ضَلَّ, and whoever strayed, فَإِنَّمَا يَضِلُّ عَلَيْهَا, then indeed not but he goes astray against itself. Meaning, the consequence of his wrongdoing is going to be on who? On none but him. وَلَا تَزِرُ, and it shall not bear, وَازِرَةٌ, a bearer of burden, وِزْرَ أُخْرَى, the burden of another. No bearer of burden will bear the burden of another person on that day. Meaning each and every person will be accountable for his own deeds. For his own deeds. No person will come and say, let me take the punishment of what you did. Let me take the punishment that you deserve. No one will be punished for the crime of the other. وَمَا كُنَّا, and we were not, meaning Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, مُعَذِّبِينَ, ones who inflict punishment, حَتَّى نَبْعَثَ رَسُولًا, until we send a messenger. Allah does not inflict punishment on a people until a messenger has been sent to them. What does it mean by that? Meaning until they are informed of what they are supposed to do and what they are to avoid by the messenger. No person will be punished unless and until he knew what he was supposed to do and what he was supposed to avoid. So what do we see in this ayah? That each person is going to be individually held accountable on the Day of Judgment. A person cannot do something and put the blame on someone else. One may be able to get away with this in this dunya, but it will not work in the hereafter. Each person will be held responsible for the actions that he has done. If a person does something good, he will benefit. If a person does something wrong, he will suffer from harm. مَنِ اهْتَدَى فَإِنَّمَا يَهْتَدِي لِنَفْسِهِ وَمَنْ ضَلَّ فَإِنَّمَا يَضِلُّ عَلَيْهَا. We learn in Surah Al-Rum, ayah number 44, مَنْ كَفَرَ فَعَلَيْهِ كُفْرُهُ وَمَنْ عَمِلَ صَالِحًا فَلِأَنفُسِهِمْ يَمْهَدُونَ. Whoever disbelieves, upon him is a consequence of his disbelief. Whoever does kufr, he will suffer the consequences. Whoever does wrong, he will suffer the consequences. And whoever does righteousness, they are for themselves preparing. They are preparing their hereafter for themselves. فَلِأَنفُسِهِمْ يَمْهَدُونَ. What's the connection of this ayah with the previous one? In the previous ayahs, what was mentioned? The recompense on the Day of Judgment. That each person will see his record and he will know that this is what I deserve. And in this dunya, when a person does something, that is a recompense that he will get in the hereafter. If it's good, he will get good. If it's bad, he will get bad. No one will be punished for a crime that he has not committed. So what's the lesson in this ayah? What do we learn? What's the main theme? Every person for himself on the Day of Judgment. And whatever you have done, that is what you will get in the hereafter. So the choice is yours. What do you want to do? What do you want to get? And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says at the end of the ayah that no person is punished until he knows what he is supposed to do. So in other words, it's only the guilty who will be punished. The guilty, who are proven guilty. We learn from these ayat that action is extremely important. Belief alone is not sufficient. Or hope alone is not sufficient. It's action. Good action. Avoiding bad, that is going to benefit a person on the Day of Judgment. So just believing that if I believe in such and such person, or if I believe in such and such being, that will be sufficient for me. No, that is not sufficient. You have to do something.